welcome again to our Carver Candidates Night on Area 58 Community Access Media. I am again Catherine Gallerani from the Wicked Local Carver and the Carver Reporter, and we are here with our two town clerk candidates, Catherine Banzel and Kara Dahill. And thank you, ladies, for coming, and you have 2 minutes to give an opening statement. Ms. Dahill first.
Great. Hi. Well, thank you for filming and allowing us this opportunity to be here to talk. And I filmed my little preview yesterday, so I'm kind of lead on that. I've lived in town for over 20 years, and I have a husband and a 16-year-old son, and I've run a business in town for over 30 years. And I love my town. It's unique, it's charming, and I feel that the experience that I have from working with my community and running my business would make me an ideal candidate for town clerk.
Okay, thank you. Catherine?
So I am born and raised in Carver. I've chosen to raise my family here. I'm married, I have 3 kids. I've watched my husband for the last, we've been together for 7 years, but for 16 years he's served the town at Carver EMS, and I want to have the ability, the opportunity to also serve the town. You know, when I think about Carver, I think about family, and we are dysfunctional at times, but we are family, and being able to see people, meet people, knowing everyone, when you go to the store, when you go to a restaurant, and seeing people you know. And that's what makes this community so wonderful. And I want to have the opportunity to be able to serve them. In my work, I am in healthcare, and we have a lot of regulations. We have to maintain records and everything. So I feel like all of my skills will pass over smoothly into being the next town clerk.
Can you expand a little bit more about what you believe your qualifications for the position are?
So in healthcare for the last 3 years, I've actually been doing intake, where you have to make sure that you have all the documentation to have Medicare reimburse you. So making sure all your paperwork is in order, keeping records, and all of that. So.
And how about you?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so having my own business, I have no one to rely on. If I can't get the work done, it's on me. I have to do it. I've worked with state and federal agencies for the last 30 years. We're governed by the Federal Aviation Administration. Beyond that, I work with the state, with the Pesticide Board and Aeronautics Commission. And there's training for anyone that comes into my place that I'm in charge of. I'm a program manager. I run my own drug and alcohol program. I've applied for federal patents, contracts, and grants, and that level of paperwork. Plus, I'm proficient in Microsoft and Office, and I've done just about everything that there is to do for the last, 30 plus years. So I really think that those skills will transfer over to the clerk's office. Plus, I have a strong background in customer service from work that I've done before. I mostly deal with farmers now and a few federal agents, but that customer service training that I got early on, it never went away. So I believe that'll be a help to me.
And about a town clerk, it's very regulated by the state. How have you gotten to know what the job duties are? What kind of research have you done, that kind of?
So Lynn Doyle actually sat down with anyone who wanted to sit with her and go over things. I've also been looking online and reading about the different aspects of the job. There is an association for municipal clerks. So there's actually training in July. So there's a lot of resources out there.
How about you?
I too sat down with Lynn. I sat down before I chose to run and then after I chose to run, and I asked, a million questions. And what she could not answer, I called the state and I asked them. I wanted to make sure that this was going to be a good fit for me and for the town. It could disrupt your whole life if it's not, a good fit to go into that job. So when I contacted the state, they explained to me that anyone going into this job would have the same learning curve, and that the state would be there to back you up if you needed help. And the training that they provide, and as Kate said, the municipal clerk's office, they hold trainings. So I think that that's pretty much it.
Okay. What is your opinion on early ballot voting?
I don't know a whole lot about it yet, but I know that there have been changes that have come on board only in the last couple of years that Lynn spoke of, and I guess it does increase the work in the clerk's office, but if you can get more people out to vote, I'm certainly for it.
How about you?
Same, if you can get more people to vote, it is a wonderful thing. It does, though, put a strain in a town like Carver, because financially we now have to have voting time open longer and having to pay for all of that. So it does put a strain on the town that way. So it's, things to really, it's good and bad.
Have you reviewed the town clerk's budget? And you're on the finance committee, so I assume you have.
Yes.
And how do you feel about it? Do you think it's where it should be?
No. And Lynn has been very vocal about it in the last couple of years that she needs more help in that office. They actually cut staffing a while ago, and she's been trying to work and getting it back, and unfortunately it hasn't been in the budget. So that office is running short-staffed. They're interrupted frequently in tasks, so it does make it difficult.
How about you?
I watched your meeting actually. It was a 3-hour meeting when they did the budget presentations, and Lynn was in there for quite some time. And I guess that she does feel that she could use some more help. And it did look promising, though, that there may be more help available to come on board. We also have some seniors that come in and help out in the office. So I think that's another resource that could help out during the times that we're extra busy.
Town clerk, of course, is an elected position. I guess there's always in different towns talk about it becoming appointed. How would you feel about that?
I think that the town of Carver has given away a lot of positions that the taxpayers get to choose who's in that role, and I would like for it to stay in the voters' hands and not to be appointed.
What do you think?
I know that 50% of the state have appointed clerks and the other are elected. But in our case, in our town, it's small, and once someone gets in there and has the training, every 3 years you have an election. If they do a good job, then they'll be there. But I do think it's important that the citizens have that voice, to keep that voice.
How about your own personal, would you mind answering the question about your own track record for voting? Are you a regular voter?
Oh, I am.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do you want to how would you encourage more people to sign up, register to vote in town?
Well, when you're on social media and you see everyone complaining, you ask yourself, I wonder if they vote. I always do anyways. And even with family and friends, people are busy in their lives, and we have an election on a Saturday. We have town meeting on Monday night, or Tuesday night, I think it is this year.
It's Monday.
Monday night. It's difficult when you have families, and I just want to say it only takes about 5 minutes. It's painless to go in there and vote, and they should.
How would you encourage more people to vote?
And once again, in today's day and age, it's social media, to be able to talk to people and to let them know, if you have an issue, vote, because that's how you make a difference. And, I've been voting consistently for years and took an active role in the finance committee, and, I feel like I have been able to make a difference in this town.
And are you both regular visitors, residents at town meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
So you know what the role of the clerk is what do you see the role as a clerk at a town meeting?
Oh gosh, the clerk is the face of the town. I think that the clerk has been the backbone with organizing and making sure that all of the documents are prepared, and to the public meeting laws that are sometimes kind of sketchy, that everything goes as planned. So the clerk, as far as I know, from what I can see what she does a very good job at keeping things organized.
So along with all that, the clerk is in charge of, maintaining all the minutes for the town meeting and to keeping track of all the votes. So it's really paying attention to everything that's going on.
Now, I've spoken to Lynn Doyle before about possibly at some point having another district, another voting district. Do you have an opinion on that?
I haven't really thought about that, but as the town does grow, there's been talk of a new area off of South Meadow Road for condos, and so as population does increase and change, it would be a good thing to do.
And of course, based on voter turnout, we need more people to come out to vote to justify having another precinct. I think someone told me in an election such as ours, sometimes only about 2,800 people show up. So if our numbers increase and we can get people out to vote, then it's a good likelihood as the town grows that we will need that.
Another question about early ballot voting. There was, I guess, one of the villages had the opportunity for people to vote there. Mm-hmm. Do you support that idea? Would you want to go into the villages to make it easier for the seniors or whoever to?
I think it's a great idea. I think that's part of it, that again, it's sometimes an inconvenience, and sometimes people just aren't up to par. I can remember my husband having the flu and saying, come on, if you're not on your deathbed, we're going out to vote. And went in really quickly, voted, and got out. So if someone can have the convenience in their own community to, just step outside and vote, then I think that's a wonderful thing.
Do you?
I agree. I mean, with the senior citizens, and this town has such a large population of that, and a lot of them have mobility issues. For them to not have to travel so far to vote would make it a lot easier and to increase our voter turnout.
I'd like to give each of you the opportunity to ask the other a question. So, you first, please.
Okay, Kate, you have such a great background, and I really have respect for you. You're a nurse, and I know that was a really tough goal to achieve with that education. Why would you not want to be a nurse, and why would you want to be the clerk?
So healthcare has changed so much over the years, and it is now more of documentation, clicking buttons, and not patient care. It's not what I signed up for. I thought I was going to be caring for people, but now it's just kind of rushing through actual patient care because you have to get all the documentation done. That it's lost that human edge, and it's not the caring that I wanted to do. I'm actually an LPN, so I'm in nursing homes where I can have 30 patients that I am taking care of, and it is difficult, and you'll be short-staffed with having aides to help you. So it's a lot of work, and you do get burnt out after a while.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Your turn.
So with your business, are you going to be running your business still with being the town clerk?
Well, we started the business, this is our 31st year, and I primarily work with the cranberry industry. And if you know anything about what's going on with the cranberry industry, it's really taken a nosedive, and the growers they no longer have the funds to support a helicopter business full time. So it's really cut into our work and our flying, and I see it slowly being phased out. So after 31 years, I think we had a pretty good run. If my husband wants to continue on and do a little bit of flying, then that's great. But as far as my role and developing it and going further, we've hit the ceiling with that. So I'm ready for something else.
Okay.
When did you first consider running for town clerk?
Oh gosh, as soon as I heard that Lynn was leaving, actually, it was in January, and as soon as I heard, I said, gosh, that would be a great job for me, and I started pursuing it and learning, and went online and started to learn the Mass General laws, and I thought that it would be a good job for me, that I'd be a good fit.
Have you, Kate?
It was actually after our finance committee meeting where Lynn was there, and hearing about the position and knowing she wasn't running again, and really kind of thinking about it, and I mulled it over quite a bit, and had speaking with my husband, and having his support and everything. So that's what made me decide to go.
What would be your approach to the Finance Committee and Board of Selectmen about funding for the clerk's office?
So knowing, the different funds that we do have available, which was something I did bring up during Finance Committee meeting, where, there's all these different funds to help, emergency situations. Like we did the firefighters PPE, being able to take some of that money. We are supplementing the school budget by $41,000 this year. So there's money around, it just needs to be moved. So it would be just kind of presenting a budget next year and hoping that they would fund that position.
What do you think? What would be your approach?
Once I got in there and actually saw what they needed and tried to improve upon things as much as I could, then I think that I could have a pretty strong voice and make a pretty good case to get the help that we needed, if we needed it, and to also see the areas that we needed it. And maybe there's only certain times of the year that there's a need to have extra help, and just find out what it is that's necessary and go forward from there.
How do you feel about the hours, the office hours? Do you believe they're where they should be?
Right now, I believe so. There was some talk, I guess, of maybe even having town hall open on Saturdays, because Tuesday right now is the only day that has late accessible hours. So the average person that works sometimes has to take time off to, go and pay a bill or to get a license, and it's very difficult. I think it's worked out well so far from what I've heard, that with the Tuesday hours, but there was talk about possibly having a Saturday.
How about you?
So the hours, I think at this point, are serving the community well. There is Tuesday, which is the later day, and I know that if a Saturday came up, it wouldn't be an issue. It would open up for more people who can't get there during the week.
What do you look forward to the most if you are elected as town clerk?
Just serving the citizens of Carver. When I've gone in there, when I went in there to get my marriage license, it was actually Jeannie McGillicuddy's was still the town clerk that day. And then when I got married, Lynn Doyle signed my marriage certificate. So it's kind of, it's just that kind of family atmosphere, and to be able to serve the town.
What do you think?
Well, I look forward to talking to people and meeting people, and I think the town clerk is the face of the town, and the customer service that you bring to it is what keeps it going in there. And yeah, Jean McGillicuddy did do my marriage license too, and it was great. And I always look at it when you're going to town hall. If you go to the tax collector's office, you're not the happiest. You're paying a bill. But when you're going to the clerk's office, 9 times out of 10, you're pretty happy. And it's always been a pleasant window to visit. So upon my own experiences of going there, they're only good ones. So I hope to be able to be just as good as the clerks before me and provide that great customer service.
Would you have any other questions for one another?
Maybe just, I know you've been in town hall for a while with the finance committee. How do you feel with your family that the position, will it tax you too much with what you have going on, and will you miss the finance committee?
I will definitely miss the finance committee.
Mm-hmm.
It's really opened my eyes to what's going on in town, and all the information that we have. They're forming a subcommittee to look at the school budget. That's going to be FinCom members and school committee members and selectmen. So I'm going to be sad to not be part of that if I'm elected. But I feel that being the town clerk, it is definitely, I mean, I already do crazy hours, so, you know, my family's used to it, especially, you know, my husband works crazy hours too. So he's up sometimes in the middle of the night, you know, we have all the radios in the house going off. So we're used to that, and, you know, I think it would fit in well with our family.
Any other questions?
No.
Is there any question I should be asking that I haven't asked yet?
Oh, boy. I don't think so. I think you did a really good job.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you both for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Our two
Thank you.
candidates for town clerk. So it's now time for closing statements. You each get a minute, or we'll be flexible about that. You first, Kate.
So I am asking for your vote on April 27th. I feel that with my experience and with my passion for this town, that I would be the best candidate for town clerk, and I hope you vote for me.
Kara?
I too am asking for your vote. I have a passion for this town, and I feel that I would be an asset as town clerk, and I bring a lot of experience to the job, and I just hope that we have a good turnout for voting, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you.